Now then guys, here's another battle. This time it's a double battle against Vera. So I'm not very familiar with doubles battles, so this was kind of interesting. I planned this team for a little bit of time now, which was basically, the theme was day and night. And he brings out the Gyarados and the Manectric. Now the Gyarados isn't much of a problem. I mean, his Intimidate lowers my attack, but both are special attackers, so it doesn't concern me. My main problem is the Manectric. He's a real pain in this one. So he does the discharge, which actually does more damage to his Gyarados than it does to me, which is fantastic. But he does get the paralysis off. But Noctowl manages to put the Gyarados to sleep, so at least he's out of the action. Lunatone sets up the light screen because I figured that Manectric would be a special attacker. But he uses a bite, so I think it might be half and half. Or maybe even the discharge was just there to get the parahax. So anyway, the Gyarados is still asleep, and I put up the Reflect as well, which will protect me nicely against the physical attacks. Noctowl just finishes off the Gyarados with a Dream Eater. Doesn't really do a lot, but it's a tiny bit of health back, so it's better than not. Bye bye Gyarados. And he sends at the end of Altaria, which, to be honest, against the Pokemon that I have, Altaria's not much of a threat. I'm just kind of worried about him setting up more than anything, like getting Calm Minds and kind of boosting his attack a bit more. But the Manectric's still going anyway, and he gets off the bite, which doesn't really do that much with the Reflect up, which is fantastic. Especially as Lunatone's pretty bulky. Noctowl, he takes the Ice Beam like a champ as well, but he does get the Parahax. Lunatone gets a Trick Room up, so I'm thinking Noctowl's going to get another chance at the Hypnosis. But he gets the Parahax again, which is a real pain. I'm just trying to put this Manectric to sleep. Lunatone does a Moonblast, which, considering he's not got any investment in special attack, does actually quite a fair bit of damage, which is great. Altaria does the same thing to Noctowl, but it does nearly no. He lowers my special attack, which isn't perfect, but to be honest, Noctowl's more there to put people to sleep and just kind of slowly chip away at them more than anything. My Lunatone goes down, but that's no problem because I can bring in the Solrock. Solrock has kind of the same purpose as Noctowl. He's a physical attacker and sets up Trick Room, but he also has another attack up his sleeve, which is the Sunny Day. He sets up the Sunny Day with the Heat Rock, which lasts for 8 turns, which is way more than he needs, to be honest. I mean, it's not going to be any good to the Noctowl, but for my next Pokemon, it's definitely going to help. Altaria puts out the Moonblast, which doesn't not much. Thankfully, the Manectric's still asleep, so I get the Dream Eater off, which with our special attack nerf does very little. But Solrock does the Rock Slide, and it actually does a fair amount of damage to Manectric. So I'm thinking maybe he's specially defensive. He's got some kind of special investment. So anyway, the Manectric pulls off the Thunder on the Noctowl, which I thought was going to do a massive amount of health, but it actually does very little, which was surprising. I had the screen up, but still, Thunder, especially Stab Thunder, against a flying type, I thought it'd be gone. But Solrock pulls off another Rock Slide, and that brings Manectric down to almost dead, and Altaria too. Altaria hits the Noctowl, but doesn't quite kill him, and Manectric is still asleep. Unfortunately, the Trick Room's gone. Noctowl gets knocked out, but I'd kind of accepted that anyway, and Solrock manages to get the Trick Room up, which for me is fantastic because my next guy is a real threat, because his special attack is amazing. So out comes the Sunflora, who's, as I say, is a mean special attacker anyway, and with the boost in the Sun, his special attacks get boosted by 50%. So he uses the Hidden Power Ice and takes the Altaria right out. And loses a bit of his HP, but no problem. The Solrock does the same thing and knocks out the Manectric, which is fantastic because I was worried that he'd get an attack and do some serious damage. So there goes the Sunflower health, and out comes the Sylveon, who's the last guy. Now I've not really got any kind of attacks that are useful against it, so I thought I'll just go for the Stab Giga Drain to regain some health. And it does, what, 55-60% of damage, which is pretty decent. Rock Slide does a lot less, but it doesn't concern me so much, because it does a chunk anyway. So he does the Shadow Ball, and he goes for the Solrock, which was probably not the best idea, but to be honest, either of my remaining Pokemon could probably take him out, which the Sunflora does. He uses the Giga Drain, and gets a little bit of health back, but more importantly takes out the Sylveon. So that's a victory. I hope you enjoyed the doubles team. I quite like both the pairings myself and think it works rather well.